UCL is, if Matt, I could show our viewers on your hand, on your thumb, right? It's right here. So, and it is in Jared McCain's shooting hand. It is his right hand. So this is the injury right here that we're talking about, Bobby. What options do the 76ers have now?
Well, paging Quentin Grimes.
Yep.
That's where we're at right now. Shams reported yesterday that certainly with Grimes, with the qualifying offer, that he wasn't even going to make the trip to when they go play overseas here. Does that make a sense of urgency here? October 1st is the last day for his qualifying offer. Do they go out and try to make a deal? They're miles away from closing a gap on here. Is there a sense of urgency with Philadelphia? I feel like I put the reverse jinx on Philly. Right?
Yeah, I do too.
This was their strength, and now all of a sudden they lose Jared McCain for an extended period of time.
So
well, as you said, Bobby said from Shams reporting yesterday that it's unlikely that Jared McCain or that Quentin Grimes is going to go with the team to Abu Dhabi. That, as you said, that qualifying offer is next Wednesday as far as the expiration date. Sixers leaving for Abu Dhabi on Sunday.
And now we have Jared McCain suffering a UCL tear in his right thumb. All right, a lot of action to get to around the association as players are getting back in the gym. We hope that it's a little bit healthier than this, but let's go coast to coast here. We're going to start with Kyrie Irving.
Oh, great, another injured guy.
Well, he was back on the court, though, getting some shots up. Remember, he did tear his ACL back in March. Tim, until he returns, who should man the point guard position for Dallas?
This is going to be really fascinating to see how this goes, because I think there's a real opportunity or a real chance, I should say, for Cooper Flagg, the number overall pick in the draft, the guy I'd seen as more of a 3 or a 4, to be the point guard for the Dallas Mavericks to start the season. The thing that's really underrated about Cooper's game is his passing. It's arguably his best skill.
Yep.
And although it might lead to some short-term pain for them, having a rookie handling the ball, I think long-term it could be the best thing that happened to Cooper Flagg, to get the ball in his hands a ton early with a bunch of talent around him.
Well, Jason Kidd did say he expects to do that when I spoke with him at Summer League. All right, let's stick with the comeback players. Why not? Back in the lab, Lonzo Ball getting after it yesterday, ready for a season with the Cavaliers. Wendy, what are the Cavs looking for from Ball this year?
I'm very happy to say Lonzo Ball is not injured and really impressing his new Cavs teammates and coaching staff. Kenny Atkinson speaking this week, raving about his leadership and basketball IQ that he's already impressed him with. With Darius Garland expected to miss the start of the season recovering from toe surgery, Lonzo Ball could have a bigger role on the court. But the Cavs view this as like their Alex Caruso move, like their Drew Holiday move. The last 2 champions had moves like that right before the season.
Well, happy birthday to Cade Cunningham. The 24-year-old Pistons star set career marks in points and assists last season. He came in 7th in MVP voting. Bobby, what are the expectations for him this year?
Well, he's coming off an All-NBA, and if you're in Detroit, you're saying, what about us? Everybody's talking about Atlanta and Orlando. Here's a Pistons team that was the darlings of the NBA. The hardest thing to do is take that next step to be one of those top 4 teams. We're going to see how the impact of losing Dennis Schroeder and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Right.
They do get Jaden Ivey back this year.
Oh, and the Pistons are one of the more fun stories around the league last year. Did you guys see this? Zion Williamson, he was working out with the Pelicans training camp. And
right.
Tim, he's looking like he's in phenomenal shape. Could this be, I know we say this every year, but I want it to be the cusp of the best season of Zion's career thus far.
Let's just see Zion Williamson play 65 or 70 games, right? Like, let's just see him get through a season healthy. At this point, if he does that, yeah, it'll be the best season that he's had. And look, Zion looks great. He looks healthy. He's trimmed down. Like, it's great seeing him doing this stuff in camp, but let's see him doing it all the way until March and April. If he can do that, Pelicans will be thrilled to have him out on the court that much this season.
Tough Western Conference that the Pelicans are trying to crack here. ESPN has released the top 100 players in the NBA rankings, and today it was the top 10. Interestingly, the top 5 all-international players. Current MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander came in just behind Nikola Jokic for that number 1 spot, mirroring your guys' poll, right?
Yep.
And take a look at spots 7, 8, and 9. The legends, that's where Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant, they all reside, boom, 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 right next to each other. So, Tim, which of these 3 do you think is set to have the best season thus far, based on the reporting and things you're seeing around the league?
I would say Steph Curry is. And look, I think you can make an argument for any one of these guys still, but I think when you look at where Steph is in his career, he's obviously, when he's been out on the court the last couple of years, he's still a guy that strikes fear in opposing defenses in a way that very few guys in the league can, with his shooting, his ability to move off the ball. And this Warriors team, again, let's see what happens with Jonathan Kuminga, but assuming that gets resolved sometime in the next week or so, they eventually get Al Horford signed, to get Gary Payton back in, to get DeAnthony Melton back. They've got a ton of talent around Jimmy Butler, Steph, and Draymond Green. And this is a team that won 48 games last year, with Jimmy Butler only on the team for the second half of the year. So I really like where Golden State's at overall. And if they can keep Steph healthy, I think he's got a chance to have a really great year for the Warriors.
I'm expecting all three to be in the top 10 a year from now. That's what my expectation is.
So that means you're expecting LeBron to be coming back again another year.
Wow, putting me on the spot here.
I'm just doing the
You did just say it.
Yes, I am. I am
Okay.
expecting him to play next year. Now, where is he going to play? That's going to be, we don't know that yet. But I do expect where these three players are right now, they're going to be playing at a high level right now. The one question for LeBron, though, is where is he health-wise? I think that is going to be, and we'll see when Media Day opens up next week, is where is he, because that Minnesota series, limping off that court, that's my big question for him.
Right. When we look at the top 10, though, clocking in at number 5, we mentioned the top 5 all international players, and you see in the top 5, Victor Wembanyama is number 5, behind a handful of MVPs, and a player that we expect to win an MVP, if not this year, then in years to come. Brian, when you're looking at the player who has the biggest chance to make a jump, is that where you're circling, or did your eye go somewhere else?
Yeah, he is the outlier in that top 10. As you mentioned, MVPs, champions, all NBAs. He's got none of those, and really what I think you're expecting is the Spurs to make a jump, because you can't get a top 10 status in the league unless you're leading a highly competitive team, and the Spurs are, slowly building around him. His last season was derailed by that blood clot, but Victor Wembanyama is in the zone where you start to see players make a difference for their team. Year 3 is where you often see players make a leap. If Victor does that and leaps into that top 5, the Spurs need to come with him. And if they don't, he's not going to get those accolades. That's just reality.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm really fascinated about, is see how this Spurs team looks a few months from now and looks a year from now. It's going to be very interesting to see how De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle all fit together. I think the fit there is very questionable. And outside of those guys, there's questionable talent in terms of the front court. Where do Keldon Johnson and Harrison Barnes fit long term? Can Devin Vassell stay on the court? This is still a picture that's very much coming into focus in San Antonio around Victor. And I'm not entirely sure this team is ready to have Victor be in the kind of conversation that he is, being 5th on this list. As Brian said, you're in that conversation if you're making the playoffs, if you're maybe winning a round in the playoffs. Are the Spurs ready to do that? I'm not sure. They have a lot of young talent, but let's see how far it goes. And as far as jumping up as much as you can on that list, it's very hard to get to number 1. But as you mentioned, Malika, the one guy in that top 4 that hasn't won an MVP is Luka Doncic. There's been much talk about how great he is in shape, how he's ready to go. He's coming off playing well for Slovenia at Eurobasket. And I think there's a chance that if he comes back and has the year he's capable of, he could be number 1 a year from now.
I don't disagree with you, Bobby.
Don't forget about Giannis. Don't forget about Giannis there. If this Milwaukee team can contend for a top 4 seed, we will see him jump from 4 to the top 2.
Yeah, he's always right there in the conversation. It's why we see where he finishes an NBA.